Radio.
Okay, thank you both for that. Right, now still the biggest threat existentially to our nation. I'm sure all of you have heard this by now.
In the mining districts of the country, the MPP did very badly, largely because the NDC presidential candidate and the party had got around the mining areas and saying that the policy that I was implementing of trying to stop Galamsey would be reversed when he came to power, and that those who were already in jail for offenses, the Galamsey offenses, all of them would be amnestied. When I said I was putting my presidency on the line, that's what I meant, that I was prepared to take the political risk involved in trying to deal with this Galamsey phenomenon. The result, of course, was that the mining districts, especially in the western region, all of them, including almost nearly even Takwa, was lost to the MPP. That is what I meant when I said I'm putting my presidency on the line. Today, he's saying that no, he doesn't believe in jailing, that he's against Galamsey, and he will enforce the law. So once again, we have to ask ourselves, Mr. J.M., where do you stand? What are you telling the people of Ghana? Because every time you speak from one corner of your mouth and you speak from another corner of your mouth. Let us hear from you direct, straight up, what do you stand for? We need to know. The candidate, the MPP presidential candidate, has gone on record saying that as far as he's concerned, he's prepared to sign a pact that would the Galamsey issue out of our politics, to depoliticize it. Commit him and our party, all of us, agreeing that we would deal with this Galamsey phenomenon on a non-partisan basis. We have yet to hear from the NDC presidential candidate. I'm asking him to also come out and support the idea of a political pact on Galamsey.
All right, that was the president. It's the latest thing he said on the fight against Galamsey. And Mr. Jinapo, this is a fair question, is it not? Is there not a need for some clarity from your flag bearer on where he stands on Galamsey, bearing in mind that what he has said so far is that he will grant an amnesty to those who have been convicted for Galamsey?
This is graphic online. October 2nd, as recent as October 2nd, I will wage a ruthless war against Galamsey when I'm elected as president. John Mahama. So what else do you want him to say?
How does that ruthless war include an amnesty for those who have already been convicted? The work that has already been done, he's come to undo it. How is that a ruthless war?
That is to say, even in taxation, we sometimes give amnesty and say that all of you who have fallen foul against the law, we are given a clean sheet. But from today, if you fall foul, you'll be dealt with. If you want a typical example of that, look at the Aksha One case. Why was she not prosecuted? Why was she not prosecuted? That is the question President Akufo-Addo should be answering. He is the head of state. President Mahama doesn't have state power. He is not the chief executive of Ghana.
But he's offering
President
himself
Akufo-Addo is the chief executive, and he said that he will be ruthless. He says that those minor offenses who've been convicted, he will grant them amnesty, but he will set the floor and say that from today, under my presidency, if any of you falls foul, I'll be ruthless.
Mr. Jinapo, these people have been convicted to 15 to 20 years in prison. There's nothing minor about that. These are people who were caught poisoning our water bodies, polluting our land and destroying our forest reserves. The same thing we are all terrified of right now. They have already been convicted. He says amnesty. I mean, help us understand. What is even the strategic advantage of this amnesty, of letting people who we have already convicted go free?
I fully endorse that statement, given the fact that there has been selective justice, given the fact that those who've committed far heinous crimes have been left off the hook.
So catch them. Why release these
How
ones?
do you go to catch Aisha Wang? How do you go to catch
So because you can't do that, you are going to undo what has been done?
it is only a matter of principle and fairness that those who committed bigger crimes, if you leave them off the hook, there's nothing wrong with the president granting amnesty.
Mr.
There's
Jinapo,
nothing
help me
wrong with that.
understand the fairness in this.
Very, very
That
fair.
Justice has already been served to people under laws that were passed by members of parliament that included the minority, the
Yes.
NDC, right? These
Yes.
new sentencing regime and all that, they were passed by both MPP and NDC MPs. So you all agreed that what these people are doing is a crime. We have convicted them for this crime. You now say that in the interest of fairness, you're going to release them. Help me understand.
That same law, and I'm very happy you talk about the law, grants the president the authority to grant amnesty where necessary. That is law.
Why is it necessary?
That is law. Even Medres, not Galamsey, Medres have been granted amnesty in this country.
Why is it necessary?
And so if they demonstrate that they will reform and that when granted that amnesty, they will not be engaged in this crime again, nothing prevents the president from granting that amnesty. The catchword is that when you are granted amnesty and you are caught in the act again, the punishment is usually far more serious and severe. And so I stand squarely with the president. And this was in 2020, don't forget. President Akufo-Addo makes a call that he wants to know President Mahama's stand because Dr. Akomeah today has stated his stand. Is that not what he says? And I've just given you President Mahama's stand as far as the 2024 election is concerned.
And I've demonstrated to you that President Mahama's stand it requires some clarity because he's saying one thing on one side and another.
If there's anybody
on
who
the other
stands,
side,
whose stance require clarity, is the president. This is a president who says that because he nearly lost an election in Takwa, he's backtracking on the fight against Galamsey. That's exactly what he told you, effectively. He says that when I said I'll put my line, I just realized
he says that's what he meant by putting his presidency on the line. So when he said he's prepared to put his presidency on the line, it means he's prepared to fight it irrespective of the outcome. And the outcome was what we saw. And so he's committed to it.
And his leading party members, even the current running mate, has stated that they would not fight it. And I have the tape here, I can play it for you. He said that they would rather help them to work and make income. And so government itself and your media
NDC
station,
running mate said the same thing.
Your media house can play several of those. I'm saying that President Mahama has made it clear that he will be ruthless against the fight. He will be ruthless as far as the fight against Galamsey or illegal mining is concerned. This is his latest statement, 2nd October. So if the president wants President Mahama's position, this is what President Mahama has said. And for me, it is assuring enough. But even before we get there, we should be talking about today. The waters are being polluted. The river bodies are being polluted. Members of this government are actively involved in illegal mining. The Akonta mining is an example. What happens tomorrow, we can discuss it. But I'm saying that the most urgent issue is what is happening now under President Akufo-Addo. If President Mahama becomes president, you can choose to hold him liable.
Right.
You can even choose to say that because of President Mahama's position, you will not vote for him or vote for him. That is your stand. But I'm saying that to the extent that we have a sitting president, the emphasis should be on this president doing what is right and proper and not what he is doing. That is not presidential,
right,
and that is not what I expect from a president. What is his position today? Did he state his position? You just played the tape. What is his position? You just played the tape. What is President Akufo-Addo's position on the fight against illegal mining? What is position on some of his own party members, including the Ashanti regional chairman, who is on record to have moved into a forest reserve without a mining license and degraded the forest. What is he doing? Why can't they prosecute those people? Why must it be those minor individuals, small fishes in the street? They deserve an amnesty, and I'm with President Mahama on that.
Nana Akomeah, it must be a headache for those of you managing Dr. Bawumia's campaign that the abysmal record of President Akufo-Addo in fighting Galamsey hangs like an albatross around your neck.
Okay, Kojo, nothing is easy, so, but we must be honest in this fight against Galamsey. And we also must try and come together because we are still divided on the issue. Clearly, in the 2020 election, we were divided on Galamsey. John Mahama's statement clearly sought to profit from the fight against Galamsey. When the sitting government was engaged in uprooting Galamsey, and then you go on an election campaign and tell people that if you vote for me, your people who have been arrested for dealing in Galamsey, I will release them so they can continue their work.
But your people have said similar things.
One second.
This is a live program. Did he say that he released them so they can continue?
He said
release them so they can do what?
He said
he has
said on another platform.
Don't misquote him. No, please. This is a live program.
Can I go on?
Yes. So let us set things straight.
Should ensure that we
let us set things straight. He said that those who show remorse will be released. But he has also said on another platform that equipment will be returned to them. So return to them to do what? Nana,
so let me go on.
Yeah, please continue. But let me just ask you this though: why does it matter if your opponent is trying to be an opportunist and take advantage of this to win votes? Why do you care? Why don't you just stop it anyway? Because it's killing people. Why not just go ahead and stop the Galamsey regardless?
As we speak, but to come to that, we need to know where we are coming from. So clearly, John Mahama and the NDC sought to profit from Galamsey. They made it a campaign issue. When we should be pulling together, the electorate saw that we're divided. And that doesn't help the fight.
Does this mean that the votes are more important?
One second. Where did he go to conduct research among those who had been jailed? And the research told him that they had reformed. So clearly, John Mahama did not try for us. Let's admit it as we go forward. Indeed, it wasn't just John Mahama at the time. You had executives of the NDC going around Galamsey areas directly to people who are engaged in Galamsey and telling them that, look, this man who is sitting here, if you vote for us, he will be the one who will be appointed to the Minerals Commission. He will be allocating the lands. I've brought him here. So he will know you people and you people will know him. And if you vote for us, he will be there in that office and he will give you land to do Galamsey.
If you are allocated land, is that Galamsey?
You have national...
If you legally apply
when
you
are
speaking, allocated land,
because,
is that illegal
because you used to be my good friend. When you were speaking, I kept quiet.
So you've abandoned me all of a sudden.
So
Kojo, elections
to deal with this.
Please let's let Nana make his point. Is that where we are now?
Deal with this.
Let's let Nana make his point.
Kojo, we must all agree that we have not pulled together when it comes to the fight. We must all agree on that point. Even as we speak, my friend John is telling us about what Mahama had said currently. But there are still members of his party's executives who are sitting on media and saying that the work they did in 2020 was the reason why many of the seats were lost to the NPP. And that they are going back to do the same work. Somboa Hincha, what's his name?
I'm sure you've heard Minister Rada.
I'm sure you've heard.
Your regional minister, the Western regional minister, rather, not one.
So, listen, we need to. My first point is that we need to pull together. If we divide ourselves over Galamsey, the NPP, and the NDC, we will not win. Because no matter the resolve, you see, you are not going to have a strong resolve when you have a divided political front.
Is it because
Galamsey.
votes matter more to
Now,
you?
no, the presidency put his presidency on the line.
But in spite of that, he's still expecting his opponent to join him. Otherwise, the fight cannot be won.
No, but Kojo,
when he has executive
Kojo,
authority,
as we speak,
he commander-in-chief.
I know.
So why does he need someone to support him before he solves the problem?
As we speak, since last week, you know some action is being taken.
Oh.
Yes, yes, that is the reality.
Are you aware that 100 soldiers were sent out to the eastern region? They burnt a few excavators and Shangfang, and as soon as they left, the Galamseyers came back.
Listen.
And they are back as we speak.
No. I'm not aware. But as we speak, because of the work that people like you in multimedia have done to present the continuing danger that Galamsey poses, and because of the work that the labor unions and other people did, there's a renewed commitment as we speak. And some action is being taken. And because of that, labor has said they are monitoring to see that the agreed actions will be followed through. So, to the extent that labor has called off their strike and said that they've come to an agreement with the executive and they are calling off their strike subject to the executive doing what has been agreed. Let's wait and see. So I know that the work is going on.
So is this it? This is the work, what we are seeing right now.
Listen,
that is
Kojo,
the government fighting Galamsey?
I don't know. You are telling me 100 soldiers. I don't know there's 100 soldiers. What I heard was that the additional security personnel were going to be deployed. There was a ministerial committee chaired by the Minister for National Security, and I know that people, personnel have been deployed. You are telling me it's 100. I don't know. But you see, for this particular effort, organized labor have said that they are monitoring, and not just organized labor. All of us are monitoring.
Yes.
So let's see, and it's maybe just less than 2 weeks. Let's see how it will go. But at least some work. Sorry?
They are back. The Galamseyers are back. The same place the soldiers went to. They are back.
I do not know that.
No, he says they are back.
I'm telling you, they are back.
Look
With our own correspondent confirmed this on our show.
Listen,
they are back.
I don't say that you don't know what you are talking about. I haven't been there to the sites that they have been. I know they started in my home area on the Birim and the Densu and so on. If you're saying that there's some the people coming back, why? Let's see how it will go. But you would agree
briefly.
Oh, but when I start speaking, you let me.
Please, when you're done.
Please.
When you become so,
it's okay. Please
finish.
I won't engage you in this.
So there's some. You may say that it's been belated. You may say that it's even been belated, but as we speak, some work is being done, and this work is being done in collaboration with organized labor and all the stakeholders who are monitoring keenly. And I'm hoping that if we get the broad support that we need, we'll be able to make some difference now. Look, the fight against Galamsey, the reason why I said we should not partisan it, is that I could easily show you that the NDC also failed the fight against Galamsey. And I don't want to do that. But if you push me by being partisan, I would show you with evidence that the NDC failed against Galamsey. Forget about even what John Mahama said. The word Mills, I can show you footage of what Mills said and your own Joy FM valuation of what Mills had done, that it failed. Even the Minister for Environment in 2016, Mahama Yarika, admitted publicly that the fight had failed. So let's not partisan it. If we go that tangent, we will just throw shades at each other and we
have to...
Okay, I was telling you I wanted to read this, but I'll leave it. Where, the Western Regional Minister, met Galamseyers and assured them that they had stopped the operation. Galam stopped, and that when the operation was going to commence again, they would inform them ahead of time. I thought that that was an opportunity for government to demonstrate some seriousness by taking the regional minister on. Because you see, Nana, irrespective of what President Mahama says, if I'm in government, I cannot say that I'm not performing because you in opposition says ABCD. I think that is not the standard at all, and I think we cannot go by that. But
I have told you that all of us need to pull together politically. So all of these statements do not help us.